If you are not spiritual, this video is not for you. I did watch the Astroworld documentary, and I did some divining and asked some questions based on the situation, and I'm going to share those questions. So the first, to start it off, I began to ask, was this event an accident? No. Was this a result of a lack of planning or lack of security? No. Was this planned for some time and intentionally control the mindset? Yes. Now, explaining that question, they explained that there were other Astroworld events. This is what, the third or fourth one? And so the mindset of the kids that went, where they could break in, it's a little chaotic, and they set that tone already for what was to be expected. So then with the time frame of the pandemic coming out of it, everybody's amped up. It was the perfect time for them to create the most chaos that they could have caused. And so they utilized that time frame to create the chaos that they needed to fuel this event. Did Travis Scott organize this? No. Did Drake or anyone involved with performing organize this? No. Did Travis have prior knowledge to this situation? Yes. And before we go on, this is for entertainment purposes only, and it's only speculation. This is no way fact finding or anything like that. TikTok. Now, the moment when he sang over the man being passed through the crowd, was that part of the ritual in it? Yes. Could he, in fact, hear the cries for help? Yes. Now, I'm going to tell you how I know that he could hear it, and as well as the staff, who clearly, obviously, knew something was going on. The part in the documentary where they jumped up, and that's the part where everybody can hear in those videos where you see him on stage, and everyone's like slowing it down, like listen to what they said, and they're saying stop the show. In the documentary, there's a boy and a girl, and they both are yelling, stop the show, but they had climbed up where the cameraman was. So staff heard them. The cameraman heard them. You can hear them on stage. They said it clear as day. They know, the team knew. But let's be clear on the fact that they only allowed for certain people to have the ability to stop the show. Again, anyone could have stopped that show. I keep hearing people like, oh, they didn't have the power. You can unplug something. Just your morals and yourself can literally go just like those kids did, and not just say, oh, well, no one else is stopping it. You could literally just say, morally, I see there's dead bodies. I'll get fired. I'll do whatever, but I'm going to do what I can within my power to stop this show. If you're backstage, they were talking about it. You can see that they had text messages. People were talking about it. They were talking about it on the walkie. Anybody could have literally gone against their own job and did something to end the show. As far as jumping on stage with Travis themselves, they could have done that. They could have risked jail. They could have risked whatever to save lives, and no one did that. Do I think that I don't think anybody in this staff really understood what was happening or why spiritually, the depth of it. I don't think people understood that, but just morally, yes, I feel like the whole staff, everyone could have done something more to stop. Now, as you know, the Travis Scott and Kylie were together, and she, along with their kid, I think that's their kid together, they were there. It is known that the Kardashians or it is speculated that the Kardashians have some type of tie to spiritism, as well as, they know how to do the behind the scenes ritual type shit. You feel me? So what I did ask was, were they involved in, or the organization of this? Was this their idea? Was there any tie to them and the way this was conducted? No, they did not have any. They did not have any authority in that. Were the Kardashians aware of this situation? Yes. There's a lot of speculation to their being witches or whatever you want to, call it. I do not put that past anybody in Hollywood, to be honest. And it would make sense that a powerful family in Hollywood would understand what is happening when it comes to this ritualistic type of event. Were the other artists involved also aware of what was happening to this event? Yes. Now, here's the thing that bothered me, which I see a lot of you peeped. In the documentary, they're talking about how there were people laying on top of people stepping into squishy things, and there are bodies on top of bodies and people getting crushed, right? There are far more than 8 bodies. People have reported that they specifically saw bodies on bodies being pulled out. So I asked, were there 8 bodies that passed at this event? No. According to Google, 10 people passed. That is a lie. I asked 10 people. No. Over at least, I went through multiple numbers, but they were all a no, so I'm not going to go through each number. But I said, I got to 70, it said no. And then I asked over at least 60, it said yes. So there were plenty of bodies. I saw one video where someone said that they feel like families had got paid off for their silence. I would not put that past. Again, Hollywood, we're not dumb to the fact that Hollywood does cover-ups. Hollywood is into a whole lot of crap. Especially if you're a spiritual person, you understand that a lot of things is spiritual. And there's a lot of energy harvesting going on in our country. Hollywood is not short of that. They are not an exception. So was Astroworld meant to look like hell? Was it a representation of hell, or one of the not doorways, but you know what I mean, one of the places? The answer is yes. Is hell a real place? Yes. Is it another dimension? Yes. Okay, so when it comes to there are some other people who are put in like their viewpoint of what hell is, and seeing there's a woman, I'm gonna do another video and stitch her. She is someone who has the ability to go between dimensions, and she discusses about how she went to the being that was being worshipped at the Astroworld event. That being is the same being whose eye was represented in the back of the stage, and it was moving around looking across everything. There is also a video where a guy talks about his dream of hell, and he basically astral projected and was in hell and got to experience it, as well as meet the being that is running that level of hell. Now, in that video, everything that he explains, this has nothing to do with Astroworld. This is just his account. Everything that he explains hell looked like is what Astroworld that looked like. And in the video with the woman, she goes in to explain her conversation with that being, and it talks about how these kids, so you hear like the things like let me in, movies like that, vampires have to be let in. There is an agreement. Spiritually, nothing can be done without your consent, but consent does not have to be literal. Just by putting the imagery up and you okaying and moving forward because of the imagery that is available to you, logic should kick in, and thus you should understand that you are now in agreement to what is being done every time you see this imagery, and you continue forward. She speaks about how basically the entity is like, I put myself everywhere. Like, it was clearly demonic. I told them who I was, where they were, and they continued to come forth. The fact that these were kids, yeah, it kind of sucks, but we have to be realistic to the world that we're in. These kids also had parents. These kids, like, no one saw the warning signs and said stop. So thus you are giving these entities the ability to do whatever the hell they want to, because you are okaying with going and involving yourself in certain things. So this was a fest. Like, this was a feed, a party. As you saw in some videos, I don't know how real those are, I didn't ask, but those entities were jumping in and out of the crowd. They were on stage. They were having a party. I'm running out of time, so I'm going to do a part 3 to this, and then we're just going to keep this going.